Dr. Susie Lee has been a vice president with the International Union of Forest Research Organizations for the past 4 years, and she is also the first woman to hold that job. She's joining us now to give us some highlights and some insight into just what that job entails. Dr. Lee, it's a pleasure.
Lovely to meet you.
So tell us, first of all, about your day job. Now, you're with you're a senior scientist with the Forest Research Institute
That's
of Malaysia.
Right. Yeah.
What do you do there?
Well, actually, I head the program for forest health and conservation, but by training, I'm a forest pathologist. So my research is mainly concerned with forest pests and diseases, mainly diseases actually, and I also look at mushrooms and fungi. But because I head the program for forest health and conservation, I have staff who also look at forest conservation and other issues related to conservation.
I see.
Yeah.
What caused you to go into that particular line of work?
More by accident than by choice. You know, when I first graduated from university back in a long time ago, there were no jobs available. So I was offered a tutorship in the Faculty of Forestry in the University Pertanian, Malaysia at that time. And my degree was in botany. So
I see. Okay.
rather than being unemployed, I thought, why not take it up? You know, so it was by chance, and they offered me a scholarship to do a master's, and from there they absorbed me into their lecture as a lecturer, and that was how I took off.
Yeah,
And then, I was teaching in the university for about 10 years, and then I decided that I preferred research more than just teaching, so that I moved to the Forest Research Institute.
So happenstance is not unhappy in this case.
No, it turned out very well, actually.
Yes. Now, you're also the IUFRO Vice President, and you're responsible for task forces, special programs, projects, and IUFRO-led initiatives.
Mm-hmm.
Can you elaborate on just what that means and what it entails?
Well, as you know, we have 2 vice presidents, one for divisions and one for the task forces and special programs and projects. So under the, in IUFRO, we have quite a number of special projects and programs. I don't deal so much with those. I deal more with the task forces. So in this last 4-year period, we had a new IUFRO strategy for 2014 to from 2010 to 2014, and we set out few emphasis areas, the theme areas: forest for people, forest for climate change, biodiversity and ecosystem services, forest and water interactions, resources for the future, and forest bioenergy. So IUFRO thought, so we set up task forces also along those lines to try to produce some tangible outputs to be launched or to be highlighted during this Congress. And so my main task was to get the coordinators to do their jobs, because we have coordinators for each of those task forces, and to communicate with them, to convey to them some of the things that we wanted to achieve in the strategy, and basically shepherding the whole process, I would say.
And how's it working?
It had its ups and downs.
Yeah.
Like everything, you know,
Yes,
some coordinators were very responsive, they were very good, they will always produce things on time. Others, you had to really nudge them along a little. But I'm happy to say that, you know, at the end of this 4-year term, we were very successful in producing the fact sheets, which have been distributed during this Congress.
Okay.
And some of the other task forces, they've achieved a lot. They held conferences throughout their 4-year term. Some have produced quite good publications, and some are launching books during this Congress itself. But of course, there were a few other task forces which had some minor problems, and so they were not as productive as I would have hoped them to be.
What about research letters? Is that a new?
Oh, sorry, the research letters are the ones I'm referring to.
Oh, I
fact
see,
sheets.
okay.
Yeah,
Yes, all right,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Now, are there factors that will stop or assist in successfully addressing issues that face IUFRO in coming years? And what would those issues be?
I think one of the things that we need to maybe be quite careful about is trying to get a good gender and regional balance in IUFRO, both in terms of membership as well as in terms of members of the board. As you know, or maybe you can see from the composition of the board now, it tends to be much more people from the north and not so many people from the south or from developing countries. But that is something that we have to work very hard to try to get a better equitable balance.
Is there resistance to doing that, or is it just?
It's not resistance. I think everybody is very supportive and of that idea. The main problem is getting people who, from the developing countries, who have the resources to be able to participate in the IUFRO meetings and to be able to contribute to the board. For example, you need resources to travel to the meetings, and that is one aspect of it. The other aspect of it, of course, is to find people who have the capabilities to be able to serve on the board. So there's still some capacity building needed in developing countries.
Yeah.
And so it may not be so easy to find ready talent that can come on board.
Well, I wish you all the best of luck in doing that, and I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was my pleasure.